Today, I'm going to talk about the paradox of the system, which sounds like kind of a crazy thing to say. When you feel like you keep trying to keep up with it all and it's just too much, when you feel like you just have this constant pressure to always perform and to always show up as your best, whether it's at work, whether it's in your personal life. When you feel like you just give so much yourself, even though you have little left to give, that leads to not just feeling stressed and overwhelmed, but constant stress, constant overwhelm, constantly feeling tired at the end of the day and not being able to really enjoy your personal time or show up patient and present with your family in the way you want. That adds up, but it can also lead to feeling burned out or being on that path to burning out. And the thing about that is, if you're there, it's not a personal failure. There are a lot of things that are dated and not good in organizations and in how certain leaders lead that are contributing to this. And until how we work changes fundamentally, it can continue to impact mental health, well being, performance, and all that. So we must shift how we are going to work. And so feeling burned out or that constant stress and overwhelm, that is not a personal failure. That is from a pace that is not sustainable, from an organization that keeps changing their minds and constantly shifting priorities and expecting to do more with less, with prioritizing, but not really taking anything off to focus on the right things, that leads to people feeling burned out and that constant pressure to always perform. And so organizations must shift how they operate if they want to see lower burnout and lower stress and more engaged employees and actually higher performance. Because when we are overwhelmed, when we are spread thin, we are not performing at our best. And also to shift the mindset that effort, number of hours is what translates to high performance. That is not. You can put in a lot of hours and not really move the needle on the things that matter. And so high performance isn't about how many hours your bum is in a seat or if you're working evenings or weekends. It's about, are you moving forward the things that matter? Are you having an impact? And when you are on 10 different projects, it is harder to make meaningful progress. And so to really address burnout or work life balance or having employees be more engaged and less stressed out, it's really an organizational change. It's really shifting how leaders lead, what they see as success. Because again, if you're a leader and you measure success by how many hours people are putting in, that is not good measurement. People adding more value, going above and beyond, of course, those are good indicators. But just, 8 hours, I can spend 8 hours and waste my time doing a lot of things that don't really move the needle or being really busy, but it's not really focused on the right things. And so organizations must shift to really address this, shift how we work and how we operate. Now, here's the paradox. Regardless of what your company does, regardless of what your leader does, don't be in the place of you're just waiting for someone to change. If it's just like the system needs to change, well, you might be waiting. You are resigning yourself to the way things are. You are then also resigning that this is the way things are, and that has an impact on your team. So, regardless of what your company does, regardless of what your leader does above you, you must take ownership over your day, your schedule, how you show up, how you lead your team, to be more intentional, to focus on the right things and to say no or delegate or let go of things that matter less, to keep boundaries, to protect personal time, to help with people's mental health and well-being, and even for yourself, however you are feeling. Don't wait for someone else to change. Back when I was burning out and working 60, 70, the odd 8-hour work week with kids at home, and I could show up pretty good in my work, but I had very little energy, oomph, or patience left at home. And I was just going through the motions, rushing from one thing to the next, feeling not very good on the inside, and that constant pressure. If I had waited for my company to change or my leader to change, I never would have learned how to keep boundaries and take more ownership over my days. Don't wait for that. Don't wait till your kids get older. The busy season is done. If you are dreading the day, if you are feeling too spread thin and overwhelmed, if your mental health is being hurt by overworking or your relationships are hurting from that, don't wait for someone else to change. Take more ownership over your day and your life right now. There are things you can do to line your actions more with your values, to keep stronger boundaries. You can get away with more than you think you can. And that's when I started to keep those stronger boundaries. While I was still in my corporate career, very few people around me were doing that. But that was my line in the sand. I wanted to prioritize my personal time and my family more and my sanity. And the thing was is I actually performed better because it forced me to prioritize better. It forced me to say no to some things, to go have the tougher conversations with my leader on, okay, where's the best use of my time and energy? To let my team handle some things instead of me feeling like I need to take it on. To stop worrying about things that were outside of my control because I didn't have the space or time to do that anymore. Yes, organizations, companies, how leaders lead their teams, that must shift to really address burnout and mental health and how people are feeling. Change how we work. However, ultimately, it always comes down to each individual. What are you willing or not willing to do? What are you going to speak up about? What are you going to do to take more ownership over your time and your mindset and what you're focusing on? And again, you can get away with more than you think you can. But this comes down to, how are you going to lead your team if you have people that report to you? Focus on what is within your control and what you are going to do and not settle for the way things are. I think too many people are settling for the grind or this is just the way it is. If you're really, really unhappy with it, go do something else. But until we really shift how we show up, and taking more ownership of that, there's a very good chance you're just going to take your same habits somewhere else. And so, learning to let go of the pressure, learning to be more present in the moment, learning to focus on what really matters and let go of the things that matter less, to have the conversations, to hold your boundaries. Because that's the thing about boundaries is boundaries protect your time and energy. They also are going to force you to prioritize better and get clear on the things that matter. And the thing is nobody's going to do that for you. Even if you have a really supportive leader who encourages you to keep boundaries and protect your well-being, unless you do that for yourself, you likely will still feel the need to take on too much and do too many things. And so, yes, organizations need to change. Yes, leaders need to be better. We all can learn and grow, but never, ever, ever let wait for something else to change. Don't settle for the way things are. Start to look at if you were to be more balanced, what would you do? What would you do? If you were to be more focused with your time, what would you do? If you were to think about your day in a better way, what would you do? Because I promise you there are options there if you're willing to look at it. Don't settle for the way things are. Life is too short to be in a grind every day or being super stressed out each day or burning out or not showing up in the way you want with your family. And there are things that you can do to better protect your time and your energy and do the things that help you be more balanced instead of burning out